Tonight on CTV News at 6, a landowner blockade.
Shut down your wells and clean up your mess and get the hell off the land.
Access denied for an energy company accused of not paying its bills.
My message to the regulator, do your damn job.
What legally restricting infill could mean for property values.
There's quite an interest in it because people just don't know what to expect with the infill.
And play where you live. New sports programs centered around community leagues.
You tell us what the need is, and we're going to go out and find it and fill it for you.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Some Alberta landowners say they're absolutely fed up with oil and gas companies using their land and not paying for it. Today, they tore up their agreement with one particular company and they're blocking further access. Nicole Weisberg has details and reaction.
This is their lease contract, and it's no more. We're tearing it up. It's done.
Landowner Mark Doran says it's time for Mega Energy to pack up and leave this southwest Edmonton property. He says the Calgary-based company hasn't paid to operate here for 3 years, even after he sent a notice for payment in January.
According to the lease contract, there's a clause in it that says if the lessor, the landowner, makes a demand to pay and the default isn't cured within 30 days, if they haven't paid up within 30 days, the landowner can re-enter on the land and that tenancy of that lease shall terminate. And it did terminate. I received no reply.
Doran says by law, Mega can continue to access the site to decommission it, but it cannot continue to operate. He says last week he notified the Alberta energy regulator. The company has not complied, but he hasn't heard back.
My message to the regulator, do your damn job. And I also want to say politely to Mega Energy, pay your bills, shut down your wells, and clean up your mess and get the hell off the land.
The regulator tells CTV News it cannot comment on individual cases. However, it says if the AER determines a company has failed to comply with a term or condition of a private surface agreement, it may issue an order to comply. The energy minister says the landowners involved are guaranteed to get paid their rents until the wells are fully reclaimed, and says they should apply to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal.
It creates a situation where companies won't pay. They feel like they don't have to pay.
Doran believes it's the companies that should be paying. He is calling on other landowners in the same position to follow his lead. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
CTV News has reached out to Mega Energy for a response. We have not heard back. City Council recently tweaked the rules for infill housing to address concerns from the public. For many, those changes don't go far enough. Some communities looking to protect property values are considering restrictive covenants to prevent infill multiplexes from being built. As Jeremy Thompson reports, that may actually hurt property values.
It was nearly a full house at the Royal Gardens Community Hall Wednesday night, with people eager to learn more about how a legal tool called a restrictive covenant could influence how infill housing is built.
There's quite an interest in it because people just don't know what to expect with the infill.
So far, Royal Gardens hasn't seen the same explosion of new homes some more central neighborhoods have, but people here are well aware of projects that impose shadows, parking struggles, and privacy concerns on neighbors.
You can see up here the famous case of a Crestwood resident having two duplexes on either side.
We understand infill has to happen for the city to grow and the city not to sustain massive infrastructure costs. We get it. However, we don't want to be victims of predatory situation here.
Neighborhood organizers have drafted a restrictive covenant for people to consider signing. The legal contract between neighbors is tied to the land title. It restricts what can be built beyond city zoning requirements.
Any homeowner has the opportunity to do what they want with their property, whether it's putting in a basement suite or garage suite or signing a restrictive covenant.
Councillor Michael Jan says these are consequential decisions. Once signed, it's on your title until every neighbor who joined agrees to have it removed. And while many Edmontonians worry nearby infill will hurt their property value, He says a restrictive covenant carries that same risk.
They should absolutely meet with an independent lawyer. You shouldn't take someone's word for it. This does have a material impact on the value of your property, and a restrictive covenant is essentially limiting what you're able to do with your own property into the future.
Council adjusted infill rules in the summer and again last month. Projects under those parameters haven't been built yet, so Jan says signing a restrictive covenant may be premature. Still, it's a conversation happening in communities across the city.
It's one measure of control that we think we need to have for ourselves.
Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
As the province's aging population grows, the UCP government is looking to increase spaces in seniors' lodges. It's spending $150 million to build and upgrade existing senior lodges. A seniors' lodge provides rooms, meals, housekeeping, and community support for independent seniors. More than 1,000 units are being created. The province says the money hasn't been allocated to specific new builds or upgraded projects yet. It says most will be in rural areas so people can be close to home.
When a senior's residence no longer meets their needs or is no longer safe for independent living, it is important that suitable options are available within their community.
We've heard from seniors across the province about what a difference lodge living has made to their overall happiness and, wellness. The most common statement from residents who have moved in is, "Why did I wait so long?"
Intake applications for the Seniors Lodge program are expected to open this fall. Those will help determine where the money will go. The province says a baby with a case of influenza has died. The latest respiratory illness update from the province shows a child under the age of 1 who had died with the flu. The province did not disclose where in the province the child died. 258 people with the virus have died since the start of flu season in mid-August, which is a record. A little more than 20% of Albertans have been vaccinated. Acute Care Alberta has released 16 recommendations following the death of a 44-year-old man at the Grey Nuns Hospital in December. Prashanth Srikumar went to the Grey Nuns emergency room for chest pains. His family says he was there for nearly 8 hours waiting to be seen by a doctor. Acute Care Alberta released a list of recommendations it created in January. Among them are increases to emergency staffing, the implementation of a triage physician position, and better planning for ER design. It also calls for the development of an accountability framework and refinement of surge protocol triggers and other hospital processes. The interim CEO of Acute Care Alberta says recommendations could prevent similar outcomes in the future. Matt Jones, the Minister of Hospital and Surgical Health Services, says Acute Care Alberta is working with Covenant Health and other providers to implement the recommendations. The Justice Minister has called for a public fatality inquiry. Alberta's Justice Minister says new medically assisted dying legislation will be tabled next week. Mickey Amory says it's based on engagement sessions conducted last year with health professionals, regulatory bodies, academics, and stakeholder institutions. Amory says the results of a November 2024 public survey were also considered. Amory says more than 22,000 people responded.
Certainly have the intention of implementing some of the instructions and guidance we received from regular Albertans and the various stakeholders that we spoke to all across this province.
Last month, Government House Leader Joseph Scow said upcoming legislation would prohibit the use of MAID for select groups, including those whose sole underlying condition is mental illness. The federal government currently doesn't allow for MAID in those circumstances. The war in the Middle East is affecting oil prices across the world. Iran's new leader is targeting oil facilities and tankers and has vowed to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed to shipping. As CTV's Alicia Fieldberg reports, that could impact daily costs here at home.
With war in the Middle East blocking a major oil shipping route, Alberta gas prices rose 8 cents in the past week and are expected to increase even more.
It looks like prices are going to start increasing in the coming couple of days.
Iran is attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz in response to attacks from the United States and Israel. Only a handful of tankers have made it through this week. Meanwhile, the International Energy Agency agreed to release 400 million barrels of oil reserves to counter surging oil prices. Canada does not keep a reserve, but is exploring other ways to help.
Canada can contribute as being a good supporter of this release. We are in active discussions with our industry about how to do that.
But a huge amount of oil is blocked, leaving many Asian markets at risk of shortage.
This problem is 15 million barrels a day right now. and there's nothing Canada can do meaningfully to help with that.
Alberta's finance minister says just the mention of releasing oil reserves is suppressing prices.
It's no doubt a good thing. Very high, sudden prices, they may be good for Alberta's revenue in the very short term, but they aren't in the long term.
In the long term, the impacted trade route is a game changer.
The world will no longer be able to rely so much on the oil from the Middle East, and it puts even more need for Canada to step up.
He thinks options involving rail and oil additives could increase Canada's capacity in the next few years.
Working on ideas that we can implement in the near term and much quicker than a pipeline.
But expect to feel ripple effects throughout the world until the trade route through the Middle East reopens.
Potentially catastrophic if we cannot get the Strait of Hormuz open in short order. Actual shortages, if they haven't already begun, will in the very, very near future. Stop and think about everything that Asia makes and ships over to our continent.
It could mean pricier groceries, shipping, and travel. WestJet says in recent days, fuel prices have continued to rise and fares have adjusted accordingly. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
2 new recall petitions have been issued for Alberta MLAs. Elections Alberta has approved recall petition applications for MLAs Peter Guthrie and Marie Renaud. The UCP kicked Guthrie out of caucus last year, leaving him sitting as an independent. He then started the Progressive Tory Party. He's represented Airdrie Cochrane since 2019. Renaud has represented St. Albert as an NDP MLA since 2015. Canvassers have 90 days to collect the required number of signatures. 28 recall petitions have been submitted to Elections Alberta. So far, none have been successful. Some traffic fines are going up tomorrow in Alberta. Fines for many offences will increase by about 30%. Some penalties will double. The offences include distracted driving, careless driving, and not wearing a seatbelt. Fines for speeding will also go up. For example, the fine for going 1 kilometre over the limit will increase from $88 to $176. 50 kilometres over could get you a ticket worth $1,000, up from $620. The parole board has denied temporary leave to a convicted killer in a high-profile Edmonton case. Mark Twitchell was an amateur filmmaker. In 2011, he was found guilty of first-degree murder for the 2008 death of Johnny Altinger. During his murder trial, court heard Altinger thought he was going to meet a woman from the internet. He showed up at a rented garage in Mill Woods. Twitchell killed Altinger, dismembered his body, and dumped it in the sewer. The trial made international headlines and attracted the attention of true crime TV shows. Today, the parole board denied Twitchell's request for 2 escorted visits to see his parents in Edmonton. The board cited the impact the leave would have on Altinger's family. Play Where You Live is a new initiative being offered in neighborhoods across Edmonton. The Edmonton Federation of Community Leagues is working with Sport Edmonton to make sports and recreation easier for kids to access. Amanda Anderson reports.
2, 1. For some, the decision to get kids involved in sport can feel just like this game of tug of war.
We know that there's barriers to kids participating in sport now, and we want to reduce those barriers as much as we can.
The Edmonton Federation of Community Leagues has teamed up with Sport Edmonton to make sports and recreation options affordable and held close to home.
Essentially do something simple but ambitious, and that's get kids to play where they live. So building programs and building partnerships that allow them to do that across the Community League network.
We're a lower income community, and having access to sports at the community center is super important to us.
The partnership is still in its early stages. Evan Daum, the head of Sport Edmonton, expects his team will help each individual community league set up structured and unstructured sports and rec activities.
The last thing you want to be doing is driving 45 minutes across the city for them to participate in something that's related to sport. So we want to eliminate that barrier for people at the youngest ages so they get the chance to build those basic physical literacy skills and build the other social skills that come with being part of sport.
It'll be, let's go have some fun and just, enjoy the sport and experience the joy of it.
Sport Edmonton will work with organizations to help bring the sport and all equipment needed to local neighborhoods that want it.
You tell us what the need is, and we're going to go out and find it and fill it for you. So that's really what we're trying to do from Sport Edmonton, is to be that connector.
And we're going to meet kids from the neighborhood. Our kids don't meet each other as much anymore. Schools are different. Kids don't necessarily go to their neighborhood schools. This helps to bring and build those community bonds between parents and families.
She hopes bringing people together through sport will also enhance safety as neighbors get to know and watch out for one another. Which sports will be supported starting this summer will be decided by each community league. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Oilers goalie Connor Ingram has been cleared to play after taking a hard hit against the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday.
He is good, he's healthy, he's not starting tonight, but he is able to play if we needed him.
Tristan Jarry starts in goal tonight as the Oilers look for their third win in a row. They're facing the Dallas Stars. Adam Henrique will play his first game in a week after suffering a minor injury last Friday. Henrique says he's feeling good after an initial scare.
Ended up being better than what we originally thought, so that was good news. And just again, try to get back as soon as you can, and it's tough watching the games, but the guys have played great the last couple games, so just want to come in and continue that.
The Oilers battle the Blues in St. Louis tomorrow night. As we head into another cold snap, the city has activated its extreme weather response. The city activates the response when it could hit -20 or lower with wind chill at least 3 days in a row. As usual, city facilities will be open as warm-up spaces. If you see someone who needs help, call 211. And Josh is off tonight. We're joined by Kaylin Mitchell with an early look at weather. Kaylin.
Thank you, Jeff. And I wanted to start off by taking a look at the almanac for Edmonton today. The temperatures today, well, the high temperatures actually occurred very early in the morning, around -3. And then after that, temperatures fell through the day, bottoming out during the day of around -13. They're going to be getting colder this evening and tonight. That, of course, is below the averages for this time of the year, which is a high temperature of around 2 degrees and an overnight low temperature of around -8. Nowhere near the records as far as high temperatures or low temperatures go for a March 12th. Last year, a little bit chilly. The high temperature was around -2, but the overnight low was pretty much right on the average at -7.2. Nice that we continue to pick up some daylight as well. Let's take a look at what we can expect this evening and tonight. So we had a low pressure system that passed through the province. That's now down into the U.S. That was the system that brought us some heavy snow for parts of Alberta, 10 to 20 centimeters for some communities, though not in and around Edmonton. Temperatures, though, colder in behind that weather system. So as we take a look at conditions moving through the rest of this evening and tonight, we can expect a low temperature heading down to around -14, a chance of flurries tonight. And tomorrow's going to be a cold day for this time of the year as well, with a high temperature of around -9. More on the extended forecast when I'm back later on. Jeff.
Thank you, Kaylin. Still to come on CTV News at 6, a young boy hit while in a crosswalk and watches as other drivers don't stop.
When I got into the middle, I got my leg got ran over, and I broke 3 bones.
Family pleading for the driver to come forward.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Friday on Your Morning, how local researchers are teaching parents physical literacy to help their kids increase activity and decrease screen time. We'll see you at 6.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The family of a Calgary boy injured in a hit and run while in a crosswalk is asking the driver to turn themselves in. The 12-year-old spoke to CTV News about the incident. A warning, that incident was caught on camera and is in this story. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
It's just after 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. Bentley St. John is crossing in a marked crosswalk on Taradale Drive Northeast before a white 4-door sedan with tinted windows hits him, knocking him to the ground. The vehicle quickly brakes and then takes off.
I'm pretty mad about it.
St. John was taken to hospital with a broken leg.
When I got into the middle, I got my leg got ran over, and I broke 3 bones.
But after he was hit, 3 vehicles go around him in the crosswalk.
He almost has to crawl and roll out of there before anybody even acknowledges the fact that he was hit by a vehicle.
St. John is heard screaming and rolling away from traffic to get out of the road before 3 bystanders come in and eventually help.
Saw me got hit, and then he pulled over, got me some warm blankets so I can stay warm.
St. John's sister Jaden says she was horrified to learn that her best friend was left stranded and in pain.
I ended up breaking down in tears. My brother is my best friend. I think the part that hurt me the most was you see him physically rolling himself away in the video and just trying to get off the road, and people are going around him.
Calgary police released images of the vehicle on Thursday. Investigators are asking the public to track down the driver by looking for this white four-door sedan. A make and model is not known. As for St. John, he is recovering at home on the couch with his blue leg cast.
I hope this doesn't happen again.
As for his family, they have a stern message for the driver.
I guarantee you know you hit somebody. Stop your car.
You know we're looking for you. You know the whole city's looking for you. Just show up and take accountability.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
The City of Calgary says it found more problems with the Bears Paw water main. Workers identified valve issues along the old line and need to address them right now. Work in that section was originally supposed to be minor and not start until next week. Water restrictions remain in place. The city says the Bears Paw feeder main will remain shut down for about 3.5 more weeks while reinforcement work continues. Former Edmonton Mayor Amarjeet Sohi has a new job in public relations. New West Public Affairs says Sohi has joined its team as a senior advisor. The consulting firm works with businesses and organizations across the prairies and in some eastern provinces. New West says Sohi has decades of experience working with governments of different perspectives and has an ability to bring diverse stakeholders together to find common ground. This is Sohi's first public career move since his term as Edmonton Mayor ended in October. Still ahead, icy conditions hit Canada. Late winter storms pummel parts of the country.
As we head into spring and summer, we're going to start to see more severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. We've had some snowfall watches and warnings. Not everybody knows the difference between watches and warnings, though. Which one is worse, a watch or a warning? Everybody. Warning. A warning, that's right. A watch just means we have to watch out for the potential, the possibility that there might be some severe weather. If there's a warning, though, then that means it's actually happening or it's about to happen. So if you think about this, like let's say you're chefs and you're trying to cook up some severe weather. If you have all the ingredients for the severe weather, you might just have a watch. But then once your severe weather cake is actually made, now you've got a warning. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, good. Perfect. These are the grade 5s from smart kids out here in Wetaskiwin, forecasters of the future. And you are
Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Alberta is getting another taste of winter. That's what it looked like in Calgary earlier today. Parts of the province looking at 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. Alberta RCMP issued warnings over poor winter driving conditions, saying it responded to several crashes on the QE2 due to blowing snow, icy roads, and poor visibility. In Quebec, a freezing rainstorm has coated trees and power lines. Well over 150,000 customers lost power at the hardest hit around Montreal and nearby regions. Well, the cold has made its return. With more, here's Kaylin Mitchell.
Thank you, Jeff. As a trough of low pressure hangs back from a weather system that has now exited the province, moving down into the U.S., there are still some cloudy conditions and some areas, some flurries and some lighter snow present. In fact, there will be a continued chance of some flurries in and around Edmonton as we make our way through this evening and tonight. Higher chance of some flurries down towards Red Deer. Those won't be the last of some lighter snow and some flurries we see over the next couple of days. Generally during the day for tomorrow, it's cold with a mix of sun and cloud for the city, but later Friday evening and Friday night. Another round of some lighter snow and some flurries is expected to develop to the west of Edmonton and then pass mostly between the city and down towards Red Deer. And there might be some additional snowfall amounts in that band of snow up between around 3 and 6 centimeters. So for the rest of tonight, we're not expecting a lot of additional snow in and around the province. But as we run our snowfall outlook forward and go all the way through until Saturday morning, you can see that overall there might end up being some additional totals between 5 and 10 centimeters, running from the area approximately around Edson and then in between Edmonton and Red Deer. Taking a look at our morning temperatures for tomorrow, it's going to be a cold start to the day across the entire province. Up in the north, areas like High Level will be starting the day with temperatures in the minus 20s. Edmonton will be starting around minus 14, Red Deer around minus 12, Calgary around minus 10, and even for some of the southernmost communities like Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, starting off tomorrow several degrees below the freezing mark. Let's take a look at our afternoon high temperatures, and beginning first in through central and northern parts of the province, minus 13 for Fort McMurray, minus 12 at Slave Lake, and minus 9 for Edmonton tomorrow. Edson at around minus 4. A little bit further towards the south, Red Deer will be around minus 7. Colder at Lloydminster, minus 11. Calgary with a high temperature of around minus 5, and then minus 2 at both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. Into the extended forecast, we're going to see temperatures with this March cold snap bottom out as we head into and through this weekend. That's when some of that colder air is really going to be firmly in place out of the north. So taking a look at our 5-day forecast here, we can see that temperatures get progressively colder as we move into and through the weekend forecast, really bottoming out for Sunday morning. Sunday itself, though, a mix of sun and cloud. Now, temperatures begin to recover a little bit towards Monday and Tuesday of next week, though on Monday, there's a chance some flurries or a little bit of patchy freezing rain, turning over to a lower chance of showers as temperatures turn milder. And it looks like a little ridge in the jet stream in the mid-levels of the atmosphere is going to allow for temperatures to get a little bit milder around Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Some high temperatures could reach up towards the high single digits. Who knows if we continue to trend a little bit warmer for those 2 days. Might even see some high temperatures closer to 10, 11, maybe 12 degrees. After that, though, things begin to cool off a little bit, becoming seasonably cool to chilly right around Thursday and Friday of next week. Low chance of some showers on Thursday and a chance of some flurries on Friday. After that, for the following weekend, so looking late into March, temperatures look pretty seasonable with the daytime highs a few degrees above the freezing mark and the overnight lows falling a few degrees below. Jeff.
Thank you, Kalen. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, economic warfare.
This is going to be a much longer game than people are realizing, especially regime change is the ultimate goal.
Iran, defiant in the face of American and Israeli attacks, launches more strikes in a key shipping corridor. And
this is extremely alarming. We know that Iran's approach to combating the United States and Israel is through asymmetric warfare.
A Michigan synagogue attacked as fears of Iranian-ordered action in the U.S. grow.
Programming brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Iran's new supreme leader has issued new threats against Middle East neighbors and world energy supplies. Iran is targeting tankers and oil facilities and promising to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. CTV's Heather Wright has the latest.
An oil tanker off the coast of Iraq bursts into flames, one of 2 vessels attacked overnight, prompting Iraqi officials to close its oil terminals. Iran has claimed responsibility for attacking one of the ships, saying it had disobeyed and ignored warnings. At least 1 person was killed and 37 others rescued. More than a dozen tankers and other vessels have been attacked since this war began nearly 2 weeks ago, with Iran's new supreme leader vowing more disruption in the future. The leverage of blocking the Strait of Hormuz must continue to be used, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei said in a statement that was read on Iranian state TV. He also vowed to avenge all Iranian deaths and open other fronts where the enemy is vulnerable. This is the first known public statement the Ayatollah has made since being named his father's successor on Monday, though he has still not been seen in public. His comments are expected to bring more uncertainty to oil markets, where prices have skyrocketed and concerns this conflict may drag on are growing.
Everyone is pushing their side that it's going to be over quickly, at least from the U.S. Military side of the house. But this is going to be a much longer game than people are realizing, especially if regime change is the ultimate goal.
In Lebanon, Hezbollah and Israel continue to trade fire overnight, with Iran's proxy firing dozens of rockets into northern Israel, while Israel retaliated with heavy bombardment of Beirut and its suburbs. The United Nations estimates as many as 800,000 people have been driven from their homes, many living in tents along Beirut's waterfront. Who is in these tents, this man asks. There are children, elderly people, women. There are fears this conflict will spread even further. Here in Turkey, the foreign minister Hakan Fidan hosted his German counterpart, both calling for an immediate end to this war, while also warning against inciting a civil war in Iran.
Last week, U.S. President Donald Trump said the United States Navy could be used to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz, something his energy secretary said today was not possible at this time. Heather Wright, CTV News, Istanbul.
A synagogue was attacked near Detroit today. A car filled with explosives rammed the building. Children at a school and daycare were also inside. As CTV's Joy Malbon reports, the attack comes as the U.S. president is briefed on the possible activation of Iranian sleeper cells.
A massive police presence outside a Michigan synagogue. An armed gunman reportedly tried to ram a car packed with explosives into Temple, Israel, containing a school and young children. The gunman tackled by security and is now dead.
Any ties potentially to terrorism with the
That's still way early to talk about. We have no idea because we don't even know who the person is at the moment.
No one was hurt seriously, but the FBI is on high alert, and so are faith institutions, worried that the war in Iran has come home. Yesterday, pro-Iranian hackers claimed credit for a cyber attack on Stryker, a Michigan medical technology company, wiping out laptops and mobile devices. The group claimed it was retaliation for the missile attack on the Iranian school that killed children. Early military reports suggest the U.S. was likely responsible. And the FBI warned police of a potential surprise drone attack against unspecified targets in California, and that the drones would come from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland.
This is extremely alarming. We know that Iran's approach to combating the United States and Israel is through asymmetric warfare.
U.S. intelligence also issued alerts about potential Iranian sleeper cells of proxies that could be activated.
Well, without question, we had intelligence that indicated that Iran was in fact establishing these kinds of cells when I was director of the CIA. So I'm sure they continue to do that.
The president last night.
We know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
FBI Director Kash Patel has placed counterterrorism teams on high alert, concerned that Iran will try to retaliate, especially at places of worship. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
Ottawa is promising more than $37 million in humanitarian aid for people in Lebanon caught in the crossfire between Israel and Hezbollah. The government says the funding will go through United Nations agencies and the Red Cross. The UN says nearly 700,000 people in Lebanon have been displaced by the hostilities that started in late February. Prime Minister Mark Carney has an ambitious new plan to defend and transform Canada's north. It involves investing $35 billion in infrastructure for military air bases and 2 northern airports.
We are building 4 new northern operational support hubs and nodes in Whitehorse, in Resolute Bay, in Rankin Inlet, and in Cambridge Bay. And we are upgrading our national defense infrastructure in Yellowknife, Inuvik, Iqaluit, and Goose Bay. These locations are at the heart of our mission to defend our territory. What they'll do is they will enable the forces to deploy aircraft across all remote areas of the Arctic.
The money will be spent over the next decade. The plan is new, but the funds were previously announced in 2022 as part of a NORAD modernization strategy. Anyone booking a flight in the next few weeks may see a noticeable increase in cost. The conflict in the Middle East is starting to impact the price of jet fuel. Industry analysts say there may be significant fare increases in the coming months. If jet fuel prices remain high, an international flight could increase by $100 to $200 each way. It's uncertain how domestic flights will be impacted. In a statement to CTV News, WestJet said rising jet fuel prices have already made operating flights more expensive. Air Canada and Porter Airlines both say it is too early to forecast how ticket prices may be impacted. Coming up, the results of an overdose prevention site closure.
What this research contributes to, though, is answering the question on whether or not the services we're currently providing are working as well as we thought.
Overdose data revealed what the stats say.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Looking at today's market numbers, the Canadian dollar holding steady near 73 cents U.S. Oil was up $8.48, closing the day at $95.73 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost nearly $54. The TSX down 279 points. The Dow Jones down 739. A new study shows emergency room visits, EMS calls, and deaths have not increased since an overdose prevention site closed in Red Deer. The Alberta Crown Corporation Canadian Centre of Recovery Excellence tracked hundreds of users of the Red Deer overdose prevention site after its closure, comparing them to users at a site that remained open in Lethbridge. CORE says it used the 2 sites because the cities have similar populations. The centre says there has been no significant change for users in Red Deer. The study also suggests that after the site closed, more site users sought treatment for opioid use disorder.
I believe that, the very people that society is trying to reach with harm reduction services like supervised consumption can be helped, and they can move towards the life that they want and what their loved ones want for them. What this research contributes to, though, is answering the question on whether or not the services we're currently providing are working as well as we thought.
CORE calls the study a first of its kind. Minister of Mental Health and Addiction Rick Wilson issued a statement regarding the research study, saying, Alberta is the only jurisdiction requiring drug consumption services to operate like other health services by collecting healthcare identifiers. This allowed CORE to follow individuals over time using validated health data rather than relying on broad community trends or surveys that can be influenced by unrelated factors. This produced stronger data, which leads to better decisions and better health policy. It's been 1 year since Donald Trump slapped 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum that would later jump to 50%. It's resulted in some companies posting millions in losses. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
Ottawa's Ambico Limited sells 75% of its steel doors to the United States, a country that 1 year ago implemented heavy tariffs that reshaped North American trade.
We probably suffered in the vicinity of $500,000 of cash that we've had to pay unexpectedly. So that hurts.
Since the U.S. president initially slapped a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum products, costs have skyrocketed. Confidence from American customers has plummeted, and predictability, especially with CUSMA negotiations ongoing, has evaporated.
So we have a lot of variables that we build into our cost structure. Tariffs is a major concern if the CUSMA agreements fall by the wayside.
Ambico is lucky. Their manufactured products are CUSMA compliant and not subject to the Section 232 tariffs that are crushing primary steel producers like Ontario's Algoma Steel. Last quarter alone, Algoma Steel saw steel shipments drop 31% and reported a net loss of $364.7 million, driven largely by tariffs.
It's an illustrative example of the pain that the industry's been going through as we try to, unravel, if you will, 30 years of integration with the United States.
The industry is desperate for tariffs to be lifted and hopes ongoing CUSMA negotiations will do that. But today, the minister leading the review refused to take questions, and the industry minister offered no update.
What kind of update can you give us? When it comes to steel, our goal right now is to make sure that we help our steel workers. That's what we've been doing.
The association representing primary steel producers says it will take a long time to undo the damage caused by 1 year of steel tariffs. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
New rules are now in effect, limiting the amount banks can charge customers who don't have enough money in their account to cover a check or other pre-charge. Canada's new cap on non-sufficient funds is set at $10 for personal deposit accounts. Prior to this, NSF fees could be as high as $50. The new cap is expected to save Canadians more than $600 million annually. Coming up, a different kind of wrestling makes its way to Alberta.
So I've shown sumo all over the world. It's been great, and I'm so happy to be here for the first time promoting it in Canada.
We meet some of the sumo stars who will be grappling in our province.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Sumo wrestling has been around for more than 1,000 years. It's Japan's national sport. Now you'll be able to see it up close in Alberta. CTV's Kevin Fleming reports.
He loves martial arts and got started in judo when he was young. Now Egyptian-born Rami is a world-class sumo wrestler.
In 2013, they asked me if I want to compete in international competitions. So I go to compete. I get first place in this competition and gold medal, and I get the best player in this competition too for first time.
The 40-year-old now lives in the U.S. and competes in hundreds of events all over the world.
I feel like you don't need to be really big to fight in sumo. You can win if you have the technique, if you have the balance, if you have the speed.
And make no mistake, even though these men are big, weighing in at around 250 kilograms and over 190 centimeters tall, they're quick and powerful.
今までいろんな経験がある中で、今回初めてカナダっていう地で相撲っていうやるので、すごく楽しみです。
So I've shown sumo all over the world. It's been great, and I'm so happy to be here for the first time promoting it in Canada.
Hiroki is one of the heaviest wrestlers in the world and says he stays that way by eating a lot and ice cream every day.
みんな体でかいんで、怪我しないように頑張ります。
Everyone's really big, and so I just want to be careful so I don't get injured when I'm fighting.
Sumo Fest 2026 is produced in partnership with the Calgary Japanese Community Association. Susan Matsumoto grew up watching the sport with her dad and is excited to see this event live.
It's a sumo demonstration, not a tournament, and we wanted to make it a more immersive experience. So we're having a marketplace that features food vendors, marketplace, merchandise for sale, and we'll also have some Japanese cultural events as part of this.
Organizers are hopeful to take Sumo Fest all across Canada. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
And with a quick last look at weather, here's Kaylin.
Thank you again, Jeff. And just a quick little wrap-up of what we can expect around Edmonton over the next 24 hours. Cold night ahead, still with a chance of flurries as winds become progressively lighter. They remain mostly out of an easterly direction for both tonight as well as tomorrow. Low temperature tonight bottoming out around -14, and it is going to be a cold March day for Friday. A mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. The afternoon high temperature will be around -9, and there'll be some colder days ahead of us as we make our way into and through the upcoming weekend. Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Kaylin. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a nice day.